What's up guys, it's Bussian here. Today I am coming at you with another Pokemon theme deck profile and we are going to be looking at Lockdown. There was a significant decrease when it came to the power level of these theme decks, moving away from base set into the fossil. They must have realized that something was wrong with Blackout, obviously the powerhouse when it comes to theme decks in WotC Pokemon. But anyway, let's have a look at this deck, and as we normally do, we will start with the Pokemon, move on to trainers, and then very quickly just rifle through the energy cards included. So first of all, we only get one rare in these decks. Lockdown, you get a foil Lapras, which is, to be fair, a fantastic Pokemon to have, especially a foil one. It's beautiful. It definitely used to be a fan favorite back in the days. It allows you to start the game with a high HP basic, which is always good, and that water gun can scale up to 30 damage if you got the water energies in your hand. I'm not a particularly big fan of Confuse Ray, but it can work. If you trust your flips, that confusion can certainly be useful. So nice to start with the Lapras. And we also get two copies of the Fossil Magmar, a well-renowned basic. Again, 70 HP is fantastic. Again, it can swing for 1 energy. Smokescreen is useful, and then you can upgrade to Smog, where you potentially can get a poison into. I think it's certainly better than the Confuse Ray of Lapras because you get 20 damage anyway of that Smog attack, regardless of the flip. So Magmar, fantastic to have, and anyway, these basics are fantastic to have for any Pokemon trainers collection, or used to be good to have back in the day. Okay, we move on to some basics that don't really do much in the deck. We have 3 copies of Vulpix and 3 copies of Ponyta. They're both terrible. First of all, I don't know if you guys noticed, they've misprinted the HP on Vulpix. The HP precedes the number. I remember picking this up even back as a young lad. So what's wrong with these Pokemon? Well, first of all, they don't evolve anywhere, so you don't get Ninetales, you don't get Rapidash. They both require 2 energies to attack, so if this is what you can start with, you will be obviously already a turn behind to just be able to start to get some attacks through. And if you compare Vulpix with Lapras, Vulpix's attack is Lapras's second attack, just 2 different energy requirements there. So really this is a Lapras light with the attack I already said is not necessarily a big deal, not your go-to. So immediately if you were to upgrade this, get out the 3 Vulpix, put in 3 more Lapras, and you're already doing better. Same story for the Ponyta. There are no DCs in this deck, so the Smash Kick is not going to be used. As soon as you get 2 Fire Energies on Ponyta, you're going to be Flame Tailing. You might use the Smash Kick if you are absolutely stuck on Water Energy, but really I think Ponyta's just soak up 1 or 2 attacks, that's it. You're not really gonna benefit much from it. These 6 Pokemon are really the letdown of this deck. The rest is pretty good actually. The rest is pretty good. The Magmars are good, the Lapras is good, and the rest of the Pokemon are pretty sweet too. We have our evolution lines here, so I'm gonna start with Horsey and Seadra. So Horsey is immediately better than Vulpix and Ponyta on the fact that it doesn't have a retreat cost. Brilliant stuff. You can always use your Horsey to just push up if your Pokemon gets KO'd, and then you can decide during your turn what you want to do, who you want to actually send up. You get that 1 energy Smokescreen attack, which we also have on Magmar, so when Vulpix is Lapras Light, Horsey is Magmar Light, but that Smokescreen attack is a 1 energy attack, so it allows you to swing immediately. And also we have an evolution option in Seadra. So we again get the water gun similar to Lapras, but this can go up to 40 energy. You do need 2 energies to start it off with, but this is where you can use up some of your fire as well to just fill those colorless gaps. And then you get agility, which again is not that often used, certainly not as water gun, because this is one of your big beater with that 40 attack value. Agility, flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to Seadra. By the time you get to this point, you just probably want to be swinging with a water gun for 30 when you got 3 energies on it. Agility would be good again if we had DCs in these decks, but we don't. So probably going to be the less often used option there, but you still have that option. I would definitely be swinging with the water gun as much as I can. 60 HP on that Seadra. A single retreat cost is not that bad actually. Not that bad on paper. And then this little guy here, Krabby, absolutely love this guy. Not only does Krabby come down with 50 HP, which is not too bad actually for basics. I mean, that I think that's like the baseline. If you get a 50 HP basic, that's okay. We also get the evolution lineup in Kingler. Yes, it has an expensive retreat cost, but it does have an effect where you can get all the other Krabbies out of your deck. So that one attack call for family, one energy attack is pretty cool to have. And then you can go up to an Iron Grip, which does deal 20 damage at the end of the day. It's not as good as Smoke, for example, because you don't get any extra attack. But again, we have Kingler to evolve into. 60 HP on the Kingler. Does 10 damage times the number of damage counters on Kingler with the Flare for 1 energy. That can scale up. If your starting Pokemon's a Krabby and you take in, let's say 30 damage, then you evolve into Kingler, you're going to be dealing 30 damage with just the 1 energy requirement. And then we got Crabhammer there, which is a 3 attack 40 damage. It's a little bit more efficient than Sieger's Water Gun, but it doesn't scale that way. Nevertheless, Kingler is one of the other big beaters. So really we have to rely on Seadra, Kingler and Lapras to get most of the damage across. But again, I like that Krabby allows us to fill up the bench with other Krabbies. It will make us easier to find the Kingler out of the deck, so that's always useful to have. And this is the Pokemon lineup. That's what we work with here. I'm just gonna put Kingler down there. Okay, now let's move on to the trainers. They are a bit generous. We get 11 trainers, and they're actually good trainers too. So none of the trainers rely on coin flips, first of all, which is really important. The last thing you want to have in any of these team decks when you have these team deck battles is you got that one Pokeball in the deck, you flip your tails, and you're done. And that was your option to get something good out of your deck. So let's look at the draw cards first. We get 2 copies of Bill. Fantastic, fan favorite. You can't go wrong with Bill in these little theme decks. You also get a Gambler. Well, technically you have to flip a coin with Gambler, but you're guaranteed to get something out of it. You're guaranteed to at least get 1 card out of it, and in that case you just recycled Gambler for another card out of your deck. If you get the heads, you draw 8 cards. Yes, and I do need to correct myself, you do need to flip a coin, but at least you get 1 benefit out no matter what the coin flip result is. So Gambler is a bit tricky, but if it does work for you, it's fantastic. Energy Search will definitely get you 1 energy of your deck. I don't particularly rate Energy Search cards in these decks because you already have 28 energy in all the theme decks, almost guaranteed to have the colors that you need in your hand. Especially in a deck like this, where you have an absolute even distribution of energies. We do, however, get 2 copies of Switch, and it is definitely a fantastic card. Remember that Switch is not only there to get your high. So what we got here, the obviously the Lapras, the Kingler actually requires 3 energies to retreat. The Krabbies require 2. Switch will circumvent that problem for you, and also it is a much better version of Full Heal than Full Heal itself, because of course you can just send that Pokemon back if you want, especially if you got a Horsey on your bench. Switch your Lapras into your Horsey, and then you can switch it back again. Remember, back in those days you didn't have a limit on how many times you could retreat your Pokemon. So we get a Full Heal, and we also get 2 copies of Potion, and 2 copies of Super Potion, which is absolutely great. So we actually can keep our Pokemon in game if we wish to do so. Again, I did say Ponyta is probably just going to be a sponge, kind of Vulpix similar to that, but if you focus on the rest, then you're going to be able to keep those guys in play. Imagine your Krabby gets a beating, okay, bit of a potion. Kingler is still going to be able to use Death Flail. If you want to keep Lapras in game early, and you got those 3 energies on Lapras, that's 30 damage you can deal with, and the Super Potion is just going to keep her in game. And as I said, even distribution of energies. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 water and 14 fire energies in the deck. So, in my opinion, Bodyguard is better because you get the Muck, and the Muck is a super useful Pokemon to have later in all the way into the base Neo format and even Neo on. Muck is very useful, shutting down Pokemon powers. That's a great thing to have, and it does play around a little bit more with status effects. I'm probably going to cover Bodyguard at some point as well, but that's not to diminish that lockdown for all intents and purposes. Yes, you can clearly see that there was a reduction in the power of the overall deck, but it still has some decent cards, decent gameplay. You get a good amount of card draw. That combined with Krabby's Call for Family will allow you to see things from your deck. Loads of ways to protect your guys. So yeah, why not pick it up, try it out. I always say this, that if you guys need some of the basic cards, get the old energies in, a couple of the staple trainers like Switch Potion, and you get this shiny foil as well, then it's worthwhile to keep an eye out for these old school theme decks. Particularly Lockdown. Lockdown is not that expensive, so you should be able to get a fairly cheap copy. Anyway, that was a Lockdown, guys. Thank you for joining me again, and I'll see you next time. Bastian signing out. Peace.